You wrote it exactly the way they taught you. You built up your credentials first, you explained your approach, you talked about your philosophy and what you believe about the therapeutic process. You were thorough, you were professional, and you did everything right. And then you published it to your website. But the rules you followed in grad school don't apply to your website. Potential clients are scrolling, they're overwhelmed, they're trying to figure out whether you actually understand what their life feels like right now. So here's the question: what if the rules you were taught in grad school about writing is exactly what's costing you? Hey, I'm Chris Dunkers, and I help therapists in private practice translate the depth of their clinical work into clear client facing website messaging and help you build the website that reflects it. So, if you're new here, welcome. I post new content every week on messaging, websites, and attracting the right clients. So, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about what actually is happening when someone lands on your website. They're not sitting down sometimes and reading every word you wrote. They are on their phone. They're probably in between something, they're skimming, and they're asking themselves one question immediately. And that question is: does this person actually get what I'm going through? When your website answers that question fast, they stay and they keep reading. And when it doesn't answer that fast enough, they leave. And most therapist websites do not answer that question fast enough. And here's why. There's a style of writing called the inverted pyramid, and it comes from journalism. The idea is simple: you put the most important information first, then you layer the supporting details underneath it. You lead with the point and let everything else follow. Now, here's where therapists get tripped up. Graduate school taught you to build slowly. You were trained to establish credibility first, explain your framework, walk through your reasoning, and then land on your conclusion. That approach works beautifully in a case conceptualization. A homepage is completely different. The person reading your website is not your professor. They are a person who's had about 10 minutes to find a therapist before their next thing starts. They don't have time for the warm up. They need to know right now if you're talking to them. And here's the other piece that therapists consistently miss: the order of what you say matters just as much as the words themselves. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine you walk into a hair salon and your stylist curls your hair first and then washes it after. Like, they do the full blowout, set the curls, and you look amazing, and then they take you to the shampoo bowl. That makes zero sense. The order is completely wrong, and no matter how skilled they are, the result is not going to land the way it should. So, your homepage works the same way. You might have every single piece already there: the right words, the right services, even the right story. When they're in the wrong order, the whole thing falls apart. The client gets confused, loses the thread, and leaves before they ever get to the good part. So let me walk you through the right order. I use a 12-step section homepage framework with every therapist I work with. And today I want to give you a high level look at the first 10 sections and the job each one is supposed to do. So, section one is your hero. This is the very first thing someone sees when they land on your page. It's your headline, your subheadline, and your call to action button. The job of this section is simple: make them feel seen immediately and give them one clear next step. A weak hero looks like this: welcome to a place where you can find peace and begin your path forward. That's soft and vague, and it tells them nothing real about who you help or what you do. A stronger hero looks like this: anxiety therapy for Black women in New Jersey who are ready to stop overthinking every decision and actually trust themselves. Now they know in 5 seconds if they're in the right place. All right, so section two is what's called a proof bar. This is a short credibility strip that shows up right under your hero. Think of it as a quick confidence builder: your license, your years of experience, the state you're licensed in, any media features. And the job here is to quickly reassure them that you're the real deal so they feel confident about continuing to read on. Section 3 is where we speak to your ideal client's struggle. This is where you name what in their life, what it actually feels like right now. Real language, the kind of thing where they read it and think, wait, how did they know? A weak version looks like this. You're feeling overwhelmed and ready for a change. That is too broad and it can mean anything. A stronger version sounds like this. You say yes when you mean no. You replay conversations on the drive home. You are exhausted in a way that sleep does not fix. That is specific, that lands, and that is what keeps them reading. All right, section 4, your value proposition. Now, this is your I help statement followed by a short paragraph about how you work. The job of this section is to connect the struggle you just named to the work you actually do. A weak value proposition sounds like this. I help individuals find balance and develop tools for a more fulfilling life. A stronger one sounds like this. I help high achieving Black women untangle the anxiety that shows up as perfectionism, people pleasing, and never feeling like enough so they can make decisions with confidence and stop second guessing themselves. When the value proposition is specific, the right person reads it and thinks, okay, this is exactly what I need. Section 5 is where you introduce yourself. This is a short personal intro, not your full bio, not your resume, just enough for them to feel like they know who they would be sitting across from. The job here is warmth and connection. A weak version looks like this. I'm a licensed professional counselor with over 10 years of experience helping clients achieve their goals. A stronger version sounds like this. I became a therapist because I know what it feels like to be the strong one in every room and never feel like you can put that down. That experience lives in every session that I hold. So when they read that, they know your credentials and they know why you do this work. And that combination is what builds real trust. Section 6 can briefly explain the steps to book or how therapy works with you or your process. Think of it like answering the question, okay, but actually, what happens when we work together? The job is to make the process feel clear and doable so they stop wondering, how do I book or what therapy actually looks like. Keep this explanation short and plain. Skip the clinical language. If they have to Google a word in your therapy approach section, you already lost them. All right. Section 7 is for you to address any hesitation, some short, punchy lines that speak directly to the objections sitting in the back of their head. Things like, I do not know if I have time for this, or I tried therapy before and it didn't really work. I'm not sure if I can afford it. The job of this section is to name the hesitation out loud before they talk themselves out of reaching out. So keep it brief, couple of lines. You're not convincing them here. You're just letting them know you already thought about what they're thinking. All right. All right. Section 8, we describe what life could look like after working with you. This is your vision section. The job here is to paint a picture of what life looks like after the work. And I want to be really specific about something here. Skip the abstract language in this section. Words like peaceful and balanced and whole are hard to picture. Okay, a weak version, imagine feeling grounded and at peace with yourself. A stronger version, imagine finishing a hard conversation and not spending the next 3 hours replaying it. Imagine saying no and meaning it. Imagine going to bed without your mind running a recap of everything you did wrong today. That is the picture they can actually see. And when they can see it, they want it. All right. Section 9 is where we handle objections, like a truth bomb. Something direct that names the real reason they haven't booked yet and speaks to it honestly. The job here is to gently remove the last thing standing between them and that booking button. This is the place to be direct. Sound like a trusted friend who also happens to know exactly what's going on. And lastly, section 10 is your closing. 2 bold statements, a quick recap of what they get when they work with you, and a clear call to action. The job of this section is to send them wherever on your site with confidence. And if they read through your whole page, then they're warm and they're interested. And now you close the loop and make it easy for them to take the next step. Skip any new information here, just remind them of what they already know and tell them exactly what to do next. Now, here's why all of this matters so much. When you put your therapist bio before like their struggle, they have no reason to care. They haven't felt seen, they have no emotional investment in who you are. And when you put your approach before your value proposition, they have no context for who the approach is even for. And when you jump straight to close before you handle the hesitation, you they walk away before they say yes. So think about that hair salon. Would you condition before you cleanse? Would you blow out before you wash? Every step has a job, and every step depends on what came before it. Your homepage works exactly the same way. The right words in the wrong order will cost you every time. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Your website is the first real conversation you have with a potential client before they ever send an email or book a call. And just like a session, the order of how you say things changes everything. Lead with who they are and what their life feels like. Follow it with what you do and how you do it. Build their trust section by section, and then ask them to take the next step. This is the inverted pyramid. This is the right order. And when you get both of those things right at the same time, your website starts doing the work that it's supposed to do for you. Now, here's the thing I really, really want you to hear before you go. Everything I just walked you through, every section, every example, every piece of specific language that makes a homepage actually work, none of it comes from guessing. It comes from brand strategy. Brand strategy is the first step in my entire website process, and there's a real reason for that. Before you can write a hero headline that stops someone mid-scroll, you have to know exactly who they are. Before you can name their struggle in a way that makes them feel seen, you have to have done the work of getting inside their world. Before you can paint a picture of what their life would look like after working with you, you have to understand what they actually want in their own words. Brand strategy is where all that gets uncovered, organized, and made clear. So if you sit down to write your homepage without doing that upfront work first, you're going to find yourself staring at a page or writing vague copy that could belong to any therapist online. So the sections I walked you through today are only as strong as the information behind them. Get the strategy right first, and the words will flow. Skip the strategy, and even the best framework in the world could only get you but so far. So if this video helped you today, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm here every week talking about websites, messaging, and getting the right clients through your door. And if you're ready to start with the strategy, grab my free website direction plan, and the link is somewhere below. It is the very first step in getting clear on who your website's for, what it needs to say, and what happens before you write a single word. I will see you in the next one.